Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to A Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 4, Week 7, Co-op Animizer. We got two teams going up against each other for the last week. And on our left side, we got WJP DTB. Racing for them is BrewersFanJP and In the Name of DT. On the right side, we got Noble Foxes. Representing them today for this race is ObscureLifeform and Nobly. So this is your first time being exposed to a co-op info share annualizer. It's very simple. We have a team that comprises of two runners, and what they're going to do, they're going to run a seed and then going to share the information of their item locations between one another and strategize and go along the way. On top of that, Animizer randomizes all the enemy locations, and this includes bosses. So we could have Eastern Palace Trinex, which will require Ice Rod, and therefore we'll be doing the Ice Rod hunt. But yeah, it should be easy to pick up and go as we getting ourselves ready here. I am your commentator today, Esper Hub, and along with me in the background crew who's pushing the buttons and making sure the stream is working rather well, we have our trackers Relkin and SiriUX as our trackers, as well as Pool Float, who is giving us the opportunity to do the restream today, making sure that the stream is up, functioning, and ready to go. It looks like our runners are getting ready to go. They are at the ready. We just gotta wait for that countdown to hit, and once the timer starts, our runners will be off and going. Most cases like this, you'll probably see a few divergences between the two teammates. Most likely to cover more ground, unless one of the runners will find something super important, then the other runner will follow behind them just to get that important item to help progress their seed progression much further. Another good thing about this is that if you just not noticing on the trackers, this is boots enabled. So our runners will have boots at the start, which makes most of the seeds like this go by pretty fast, thankfully enough. We ain't got to look for keys, so there's no key sanity, and we are underway. So Sanctuary gave us the key to Hyrule Castle, and there's a piece of heart in Link's house. And looks like Nobly is going to go and take a peek at the... I'm going to assume this is Saha Closet. A good check over there. In the name of DT, they are going into doing Houlihan. They're going to get that money very early so they can most likely do Zora, as well as get some money for bombs, as well as money for the bottle merchant. Brewers fan pulled out the tree, prize 1, which is 20 rupees. That's going to be really good to know for the long run, just in case you need some more money to scrape by. And it looks like we may get a peek into Lumberjack Ledge with ObscureLifeform. But meanwhile, going into, Uncle gives us an Ether medallion that could help out, but it could not. And in our secret chest, once he gets over there to there, is a piece of heart. So nothing major just yet besides the Ether medallion. It could be used for both either entry for Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, but we won't know for sure until we get there. And it looks like in the name of DT just got some bombs, and they're going to check out Saha's Closet as well. Didn't seem like it was much in there. Otherwise, there'll be some items highlighted on Nobly's side, because I'm pretty sure they did that. Meanwhile, Obscure finding the Fire Rod that's going to be a huge benefit since it's early in this game. Bonk Rocks being only a bottle with a B in it. That's something to note for later. And it looks like the dam, its sunken treasure, has half magic for us. So pair that up with the fire rod, you're going to see our runners have a lot of ease of use with their magic in the later part of the seeds, especially when we come across those that really need it. Nobly checking out the Desert Ledge 10 arrows. Meanwhile, BrewersFan is going into the Lost Woods, and then we got ObscureLifeform going into the Blind Hut, being the first person in the Kakariko village. Meanwhile, Nobly is going into the Agina's cave, and they're going to pull out 10 arrows. And that's a save and quit right there from Nagina's cave. Not much Nagina, but getting that check out the way is always a good sign. Meanwhile, ObscureLifeform pulls up a book in the Blind's hut. That's entry to Desert, but we don't have the big key for it yet. Let alone gauntlets. We need those. BrewersFan taking a death. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but I think they were trying to progress into one of the. They probably came across one of the more threatening enemies. As we get we didn't get much threatening presence in the mini Modrum cave, as DT is pulling up piece of heart, a whole heart, 10 arrows, 20 rupees, and 20 more rupees. So yeah, nothing much from there. No dice as the search for progression continues. So BrewersFan's turning in a fish for the bottle merchant. He's going to give us a lot of goodies. Now, this is probably one of the few benefits of an enemizer. Enemies can become fishes, and you can take the especially if they're near Kakariko Village, you can just take the fish over to the bottle merchant, and he will give you 20 rupees, some bombs. Well, I think 25 rupees, bombs, arrows, and I believe a full magic jar. So, yeah, it's worth investing that fish in getting those needed materials. As we see in the chicken hub, we did get a cape. That's going to be. I feel like that could potentially lead us into Agina 1. But we got to have the lantern and moon pearl before I can start making assumptions like that. Meanwhile, DT is doing some water walk in action thanks to the boots, and they're looking to say what's going on in the waterfall ferry. As we get a lantern and 50 rupees. I think I have jinxed this seed now. I'm terribly sorry. BrewersFanJP getting their sword from the Kakariko well, while Obscure pulls out the Moon Pearl from the library. Easy access. Our runners will not having any issues today as far as getting to that area, especially since they already got boots starting off. Just a matter of just getting there. So yeah, a lot of things are coming up. This could be potential Agina Aga 1 seed, but we do not have the flippers to put the lantern that DT found into logic. But yeah, there is a lot of back and forth today from our runners, crisscrossing each other. All four of them scrambling to look for what items they could potentially get in these areas. And it's like both JP and DT are going to come across their Moon Pearl nearly at the same time. DT's going to check out the bottom area, see it's going to be absolutely nothing, just some bombs. And he's going to get the word from JP that you should go up here to the library. It's got your Moon Pearl there. Meanwhile, ObscureLifeform is going into the ice cave to get this out of the way check. He could turn this into a waterfall fairy as well if they ever so feel so inclined of doing water walking. Which it looks like this may be the plan, with them not saving and quitting from here. So most of our runners exhausted a lot of the zero sphere checks so far that they could get to. So my money is that there's something in Eastern that they need to check out, as Nobly is like 3 parallel universes ahead of me on that one. And it looks like while he is doing that, ObscureLifeform is going to get their lantern from Waterfall Fairy. Forgot to free the bee, so they need to go ahead and do that. And they want to see what the bottle gives from there. And it's a green potion. That's going to help out, especially since they don't have half magic just yet. Meanwhile, in Eastern Palace, there's a little fiesta happening over there in that hallway. Meanwhile, JP decided to be very bold into stepping into Desert Palace. So yeah, we are going to get some identification of what's going to be in these dungeons. And it looks like in Eastern, we do get an Argus for our boss in this dungeon. So we do need our hook shot. There's the big healing torch in the Desert Palace. JP is going to scoop that up and keep moving. Hopefully, well, logic dictates that the small key should be in the big chest, if that is the case. If not, then we need to take a look at the middle room. And there we go. Speaking of keys, Nobly picked up their big key for Eastern Palace, while ObscureLifeform is going to do, looks like they're going to go ahead and do the escape sequence, while DT is going to grab their fire rod. They do have the book. They are going to check pedestal. So we are going to get that information right now, which is actually, to my surprise, with it being book, it's a no-brainer. What we got? And just some bombs. Ped is dead. So that's out the way. ObscureLifeform is going through the uncle's checks, and they're promptly leaving there. They didn't save and quit, so yeah, this is the plan to do escape sequence. Meanwhile, DT having the same thought of going into escape. All the while, JP finding the flippers in Desert Palace, most likely on the right side. This is this puts our lantern into logic now, and this could potentially mean that Dark World access is through Agena 1. So yeah, now we just gotta take a look at what's going on in the escape sequence, as well as Eastern Palace, because we do got like two more checks, one more check really, and that is the bow. We got ourselves a major item here, bow, but unfortunately we cannot finish this dungeon because Argus is the boss for Eastern. We need the hook shot for that. So there looks like they're marching off into the escape sequence as well, joining ObscureLifeform. They are going to most likely do escape, as well as probably go ahead and do the Agena climb. Well, Aga climb for Hyrule Castle. But yeah, it looks like this seed is pointing our runners into doing Eastern first to do Waterfall Ferry or Zora Ledge, because we have yet to finish checking Zora Ledge. I don't think any of our runners have checked Zora Ledge yet to see what's there, because it could potentially be Gauntlets and Hammer there to get our Dark World Dark World entry from there. Okay, Zora Ledge for 3 bombs. Thank you for informing me. See, I like it when chat is like my third pair of eyes, or 450 50 eyes, how give or take, you know. But yeah, it looks like Nobly is following the logic. Well, they're going to be following the logic. And once they find the flippers, they're gonna probably get the intel that ObscureLifeform may be not too far off from the. Oh, there is our gloves. This could steer away the attempt to do Agena. This is what we wanted to see, because our runners will most likely, in his case, they will exhaust everything first before they do Aga 1. So this is that is the smart play, at least. It takes a while to do Aga 1, especially with the loadout that you got. Fire Rod could help out, but not as much. We do get the back of sewers though. Side by side, BT and ObscureLifeform pulling up shovel, piece of heart, and a bunch of rupees. So this could be decline to DT. That's what it looks like from the sanctuary start. Meanwhile, in the name of DT is gonna check out that shovel spot. They feel like something big is there. Hopefully it's our hammer. If not, then we have to check that elsewhere. JP is going through Eastern Palace, gonna do all their checks there. And I believe Nobly's saving and quitting from, I forgot where they were saving and quitting from, but it looks like they're going to do escape, go to the back part, get their gauntlets, because that's very important. This is understandable. Go ahead and get in there, get those gauntlets, and just move on out. But yeah, it looks like the shovel didn't yield anything beneficial for our runners. As ObscureLifeform is taking the old man to his home, which hopefully will give us something very good in exchange for it, as we get some very, very unique slowdown thanks to the enemizer. We get a piece of heart. That's rather unfortunate, but you know, that's okay. We gotta keep moving. I just now realized there's Lionels here. That's rather horrifying. Probably the most fear-inducing old man escort that I can think of. Thankfully, they got cape though, so they don't have to worry about it that much. Nobly taking an unfortunate death in the back part of the sewers. I believe the reason why is because all these enemies have been shuffled around, so they don't really have much to go off of where these areas, where this could lead into. But Spectacle Rock, unfortunately, not yielding anything of the sort. It looks like we do have to do our climb to to Aga 1 with our current layout equipment. Hammer has to be somewhere in have to be in the dark world at this point. Unless someone already did the Zora scam. If someone didn't do the Zora scam, it could be there. Nobly using the pause buffering to narrowly dodge the anti-fairy. Pretty good work from there. I'm gonna free the bee as well to see where the rest of these enemies are running around at. And this is where the pain comes in, ladies and gentlemen. We're seeing a lot of deaths here, and it's mainly because of the enemizer's enemy locations. They're not that friendly or forgiving at this point. Yeah, not on top of having the enemies being really shuffled around. Having to do it in the dark is another huge issue because you just don't know where the enemies are at and what kind of enemies you have to deal with. Nobly is gonna finally get their lantern, which is understandable. End up dying to the dark places for a bit on this enemy shuffled seed. Means, you know, just go ahead and just grab it. Just grab it. Meanwhile, DT will be the first one to meet Aga 1. I keep saying Agina. Their names intertwine so much in my brain. Help me. I'm gonna guess we're gonna have, like, at the very least 3 blue balls today. 3. Oh, that's Chad is hoping for. Hoping for that glorious 15. I don't think that's possible right now. Yeah, Aga 1 does not get randomized in this seed because Aga 1 and Aga 2 are the key ingredients needed to defeat in order to progress into the Dark World vanilla, as well as get the Ganon fight started. They're the only boss that really just is in their fixed location. And DT will be our first runner to enter in Ganon's Tower. I mean, not entering Ganon's Tower, entering the Dark World. Whew. I know it's 20 minutes in, but let me not get ahead of myself. Didn't spot anything important in the pyramid ledge, so they're gonna mosey on. They have limited area to go by, but I don't like to think that there's something in the Palace of Darkness. There could be something in Catfish as well, but we won't know for sure until we take a look at them. We get a map check from ObscureLifeform, marking off the areas for us. We got a green pendant and an ice palace. Turtle Rock is a pendant, and Thieves Town is a pendant as well. That means the rest of the dungeons are blues and red crystals. both ObscureLifeform and JP, they are going into the catfish route to see what they have, while DT is going to check out Palace of Darkness. And we get from the catfish our second sword. That's actually going to be pretty good for our runners, getting that second sword in there. Yeah, I believe our bow was in Eastern Palace, in a French vanilla location. It's the last chest, if I'm not mistaken, before the big key chest. I mean, well, the big key location. We do get a hammer in this French vanilla location. This seed is wild. Well, there's our answer as to where the hammer was at. So you do have to, at the very least, do AGA 1 to get into the Dark World. Unless Titan's Mints was Zora. That would be hilarious if that was the case. And it looks like DT is saving and quitting. He gotten what he really needed, so he just said, you know what, let me go ahead and start working everywhere else. We don't really have to spend all day in this dungeon, which this is understandable. You're still looking for progression items, and you don't know for sure if you have the item to fight the boss. But yeah, everyone is picking up their hammers today. Nobly is going to be not too far off once they're finished with the AGA 1 fight. High cave, 20 rupees, 3 bombs, 3 more bombs, 10 arrows, and a piece of heart. I want my refund on this high cave. This high cave is not a high cave at all. It looks like JP is going to go deeper into this dungeon. As we get DT checking out the digging game, he is going to dig around for a bit to pull up some rupees, but more likely going to hope to find their item that they're supposed to be getting here. I mean, it could be anything, but we are hoping for some progression. That's kind of not progression, but you know, I guess fine, sure. Be in a bottle, I guess. ObscureLifeform, I'm gonna pull up their bee in a bottle soon. Who would put a bee in a bottle and bury it here? That's kind of wrong and rude. Meanwhile, Nobly and JP are still, well, Nobly is just now stepping into the to Palace of Darkness, while JP is continuing an exploration of the dungeon. And they did an oopsie daisy with the switches. These enemy placements are kind of wild right now. So ObscureLifeform is going to check the pedestal for their team. Gonna find out that it's just only bombs. And they're gonna move on with their life. Meanwhile, DT is checking out Skull Woods to see what's going on over here. Hopefully they're hoping to see if they can get something good off of it. They can clear it too, by the way, but they've got to figure out who's the boss in this dungeon. Because it could be Trinex for all we know. It does look like JP has the intention to finishing up Pod. Oh, okay. Thank you for clearing that for me. For about the Skullwoods cannot be in Skullwoods because it's way too small. That would make a lot of sense. So it could still be Argus. Well, no, we already seen our Argus. It could be another one though. Who knows? Nobly attempting to do bomb jump and unfortunately failing, and we get an Argus for our Mothula fight. DT is going to take an intentional death here. They're going to go back to the entrance and they're going to check the one chest here before leaving. I think I have jinxed the seed once more with that. Meanwhile, ObscureLifeform found something good on Bumper Ledge, but what was it? Oh, it's the mirror! Yeah, I'm gonna need that mirror. It's very important right now. Meanwhile, JP getting to the last part of the Palace of Darkness dungeon. As DT has finished their chest check and going to take the intentional death to leave out. I believe they went into Skullwoods first, and since they're leaving it through this way, they probably have the intention of checking Bumper Ledge now, and soon enough they'll come across their mirror. But meanwhile, we do have Argus. I mean, not Argus, but oh geez, we do have Armos in the Palace of Darkness dungeon. Looks like they're doing a little old switcheroo here with some of the dungeon placements of some of these bosses. Bouncing around in the dark. You could say that. French vanilla location, except it's in the dark world. But down goes Armos, and JP scores 1 crystal, being the first one to draw first blood today for this race for their team. WJPDTB. And DT scouted out their mirror. They're going to go ahead and grab that. They will be telling JP to do the same. Meanwhile, ObscureLifeform taking the mirror and going into Tower Hera. The basement didn't just have a small key while the big key was in the main room. So they're going to be progressing upward to the boss. And it looks like DT is going to be doing the same. Meanwhile, Nobly, armed with a bow, going to be making quick work of the Armos here in the Palace of Darkness. And they'll be scoring their first crystal for their team as we get a successful bomb jump from ObscureLifeform in the Tower of Hera, getting to that big chest quickly as possible. And we get Vinny for our boss fight up here. I don't know how to feel about this fight. Well, without much of the slime, the small eyeballs will be very easy picking, so this fight shouldn't go that harsh. They do have to pay attention to their magic meter, though. They just ran out. If they would stayed in their hitboxes, they would have done a lot of damage to them. And here comes the big eyeball. And just a few more spins on it. They are on Massasaurus, so it will take a bit. They do have hammer, so they could theoretically use the hammer, but no need for that since they took it out pretty quickly. And that will be ObscureLifeform's first crystal. Right, put another notch on that belt. Meanwhile, Brewers fans checking out the back of cemetery as well as King's Tomb, coming across Blue Mail. That's going to help them out since the heart count that they got is still slightly low, especially for it to be in the Dark World. Meanwhile, DT is going to check the east side of Death Mountain with ObscureLifeform. Yeah, our runners are going back and forth in this, and we are just rapid fire unveiling locations for some of these checks. Like this red boomerang that Nobly pulled up in the chess game, and ObscureLifeform checking out Spiral Cave, and he is glad that he did, because that's our other gauntlets. There, we are not Titans mints. Meanwhile, in Paradox Cave, DT pulling up the next sword upgrade. That's going to be Tempered Sword for him. Yeah, there is a lot of revealing today in this area, and it's gonna probably take a bit for our runners to crisscross with one another, which is, I'll say I'm completely okay with this. A little downtime after this intense reveal is something that I need to digest a little. DT is going to get their Titans mints. I'm going to feed that information to JP as soon as possible. And ObscureLifeform pulling up their sword upgrade to get Buttered Sword. So like, what was the third? What was the other sword upgrade? Oh, there were two in Paradox. Huh, who'd have thought it? It looks like ObscureLifeform is going to check Turtle Rock, its entry, and see what's going on over there. They can't do much because they ain't got the Samori Cane. But knowing that it's Quake, they probably don't have to go in there. It is a pendant after all, so I think that's just a sigh of relief to say, oh, we don't have to do that yet. But anything could happen in this. Meanwhile, Brewers fans pulling up the flute, pulling up flute and magic powder in the D Sound dungeon. And it looks like we're gonna get our look into the hookshot cave. We do get our ice rod. Where did he get the hookshot from? I guess it was Bunny Hop Cave. And we get another shield upgrade. That disgusting thing. Ugh. Giant laggy shield. Yeah, this is a lot of stuff. Meanwhile, we got JP checking out the magic bat with the fact that they got the magic powder. They went ahead and get this check out the way. And we get 20 rupees for our efforts. Man, nice supplementary for the big reveal that we get for Thieves Town Dive. And it looks like Nobly is following suit. They really would love to have Tempered Sword right now. And I do believe that was Quake that was on the Hyrule, on the Death Mountain Island. But yeah, while our runners are going back and forth now across an intersecting. Oh wait, before we do that, our Spike Cave giving us 10 arrows, nothing huge important. That's a save and quit right there. But yeah, now our runners are going to be crisscrossing each other on these locations, especially since they gotten a lot of major goodies off of it. Do give them a follow in their respective channels. They're doing a fantastic job of working out this seed. And give a follow to our fellow trackers who've been working behind the scenes, pushing the buttons, making sure to help us stay up to date on all these rapid fire item reveal locations. Relican and SiriUX, as well as our restreamer Pool Float, blessing us with the opportunity to be able to watch this unfold for today's race. Amazing work, guys. Couldn't done without y'all. Looks like ObscureLifeform is now going into their desert palace in earnest. Is it me or did JP intentionally leave out the golden sword? Or am I just imagining it? Which I think it does make sense because the damage between gold and tempered doesn't really matter as much. Oh wait, no, they haven't checked the they haven't checked Catfish. Now I remember. I don't think any of the runners have checked Catfish like ObscureLifeform did. Oh no, he did leave that sword. Wow. But yeah, I think I can agree on leaving out the gold sword, but leaving out the gold sword, but not leaving the Make sure you pick up them silvers, especially if they're easily accessible. Like compared to spins, they could just do 4 and you're done. Just 4 arrows into the big pig and you're done with those silvers. Yeah, our runners are checking for some more cane, and they do have access to Misery Mire, at the very least the outer part of it. They could go to Misery Mire's shed, Checkerboard Cave, and see what's up in that area to see if they can come across the bombos. But Misery Mire may not require bombos in order to clear it, but it does require some more cane. So I like to think our runners are going through the paces to try to find the Samora Cane at the very least, and then they can start working from there. We do have a bunch of other crystal dungeons that haven't yet cleared, so with a hook shot, ice rod, fire rod, hammer, you got most, if not a lot, of the essential items needed to kill probably the entire cast. So any dungeons that's clearable now probably should be cleared by now. Probably should be the priority. Always be clearing dungeons, as some would put it. Nobly is taking a dip into Swamp House. Well, like Swamp House is a crystal, right? Yeah, it is. But yeah, they're going to check out this area. This will be new to us at the very least, to see what's going on in here. Not too far behind, JP is following in suit. It looks like both JP and Nobly may end up full clearing this dungeon to see what's going on. Though the question remains, do you full clear it, or do you go to the boss first and get that out the way before full clearing it? That is the question here. Though in a perfect world, you can just clear the boss and then hopefully come across your go mode items along the way. But we'll see what happens now after we Nobly is getting into the central room, is what I like to call the dungeon. Went south first to check for the first item there, and that's just 5 rupees. Meanwhile, DT finishing up their almost fight. That's another crystal down, marking that as 2. Well, actually 1. They only cleared 1 so far. And it does look like Nobly is looking to do the boss first. And what we're going to see here, ladies and gentlemen, don't blink, you may miss it, is what we like to call diver down. Except for the part where Nobly messed up a little bit along the way. But now there we go. Locked in place, drop down. Now you're walking on water. And there's our big key for there. He's going to move deeper and deeper. And then they're going to beat up the boss. And then probably have to come back to here. Just to open up the big key chest and check out left side swamp to see if they get their go mode here. Meanwhile, ObscureLifeform is doing the Argus fight that's in Eastern Palace. Looking a little green today, Argus. I guess the lack of water can do that to you. And 1 silver calls this case closed. As we get our bombos, we don't need any guessing game for what medallion needed for Misery Mire now, as we got all 3 collected in tow. Meanwhile, Nobly finished up Landmost, which was in the Swamp Palace dungeon, gets 50 rupees for their efforts and another crystal. Not too far off from Nobly, JP gonna do their landmouse fight. Pop 3 arrows into them. Oh baby, a triple. Mom, get the camera. Someone just got 50 rupees. And it looks like Nobly is skipping out on checking left side swamp. This may be to check the other areas first before going to left side swamp. They're probably riding on the fact that there's nothing there. But we do get a mushroom on the Bombos Medallion tablet. Fetch quest, anyone? Yeah, I wonder why they skipped out on that chest now that I thought about it. They're not exactly in go mode to be doing something like that. I mean, sure, it takes some time to get to that chest, but you still need your Samurai Cane and well, you're getting Bombos now, but you still need to get the Samurai Cane as well to, you know. And unfortunately, JP did an oopsie daisy. I'm not sure what it was, but I didn't take a moment to look because I was paying attention to DT. Meanwhile, Nobly is going to get the frog, take them on the merry way. Thanks to the fact they got mirror, shouldn't take that long of a trek to get over to the blacksmiths, as they're doing a very interesting way of hammer pegs. I wonder if it's because they don't really item dash as much. Interesting. Do get 20 rubies in the cave though, so bleh. So I looked away for a moment and didn't realize what Nobly picked up as their prize. Meanwhile, we get a very, very annoying Argus in Lothula. DT decided that he just really hated this boss and it needs to go away right now. Meanwhile, JP's unearthing a red tunic in the left side swamp. I don't think there was anything else important there, so they're just gonna move on up. And thanks to the fact that they got Flute for their dip into Thieves Town, JP is gonna go ahead and turn in that mushroom. Meanwhile, we get some ice dungeon shenanigans going on today. Without the presence of the Samurai Cane, ObscureLifeform is probably gonna have to do some Ice Palace Bomb Jump. And the mushroom didn't really yield anything for us, just money. So we're just gonna move on with our lives. Nobly saving and quitting because they ain't got the powder. hopefully to save Scummit to use that mushroom to fake powder once they get some more arcane. But once they get some more arcane, they're practically in go mode. So meanwhile, ObscureLifeform is going through Ice Palace. They just successfully did the Ice Palace bomb jump. So now they're going to move on downward and take a look at some of these some of the stuff here. Trying to finish up this Ice Palace dungeon, doing the long way. This is how we used to do it back then before we found out door extension glitch. A lot of people hated this dungeon because of it. We get Morty as our Ice Palace dungeon boss. And they're gonna give us the green pendant, which is, I guess you could say that's kind of French vanilla of Mort to do. Being the well, actually no, not really. I forgot. Armos is the one that'll give you the green pendant. And yeah, this room that JP is in, I agree. Use the ether medallion and get rid of these pesky Dark World guards. No sign of the cane yet, but it does look like DT is going to take a dive into the Dark World's Misery Mire and check around it to see what's going on. As Nobly steps into the ring against Argus number 2, it is time for the revenge. No, wait, no, I don't think they fought Argus yet. That's in Eastern. Thankfully, the spikes that's around the arena is not moving around. This will make this fight much worse. And a nice clean shot of the arrow with the silvers puts down Vinny, and off they're going with their next crystal in tow and the big key while we're at it. Meanwhile, Brewers Friends is going to be doing the same thing. As we finally found some more cane being in the Ice Palace big key chest. I do believe we have our go mode for Obscure, who clocked it in at 54 minutes in a handful of seconds. Oh, right, they haven't had the flute. Right, they have to have the flute, and that's in. How long will you think these runners from Noble Foxes hold off on going into Thieves Town Dungeon? But yeah, we are in no mode right now. The moment anyone from No More Foxes go into Thieves Town Dungeon, they will start making a mad dash towards to there to get some arcane, to finish the rest of their dungeons up to get to Gannis Tower. Yeah, conversely, how long do you think WJPDTB will take before going into Ice Palace? Because that is a pendant. of all things to go into. These are the questions that hopefully will get answered very, very soon as we get into the climax part of who's going to get what first. Who from WJP DTB goes into Ice Palace first? And who will be the one to enter in the Sound Dungeon first from Noble Foxes? I find it really weird to not go into the Sound Dungeon even for the 4 chests, to be honest. Especially when you get first access to it. I feel like that's just like, it's pretty quick to get into and pretty quick to get out of, I guess, is what I would like to argue about going into there just to dip for those 4 chests. Meanwhile, DT is going to finish up the Lamos fight and get their crystal. Nobly is going into in Eastern, trying to tie in the loose ends on that one. Meanwhile, ObscureLifeform taking a wild swing in the dark here, going into the Turtle Rock dungeon in hopes of finding Flute. But we know where Flute's at. That's in Thieves Town. I feel like at some point after saving and quitting out of one of the dungeons, you will be going into, at the very least, checking Thieves Town dungeon. Like, I'm gonna have to ask the thought process on that one for Noble Foxes, because it's pretty easy to get in there, get those 4 chests, and get out, especially if you have the mirror. I would be doing Thieves Town before going into Turtle Rock, if is my argument. But I digress. JP is working towards freeing up the blacksmith, and we got DT in Ice Palace, so they're going to get their some more arcane if they come across the big chest, because at this point you need to start checking your chest at this point, especially if you feel behind. And JP is taking the time to go in the dark world of oh, are they gonna go in here raw? Yeah, they are, without some more arcane. Oh man, this may set back JP a bit once DT tells them that the Samoricane is on the in Ice Palace. So yeah, they're both JP and DT are looking for some more arcane. DT is doing it to hopefully come across it in the Ice Palace, while DT is checking it out in the Misery Mire. And we do get our big key from DT, and he is going to do the big reveal for us Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in 1 hour, 1 minute, and 22 seconds, DT is now in go mode. He's going to feed that information into JP, who I'm going to assume will be saving and quitting soon enough after they do some checks for the big key. And that will be the go mode for our team here for WJPDTB. Meanwhile, ObscureLifeform is still descending into Turtle Rock to see if they can find the flute, while Nobly will get their some more Arcane and Ice Palace. And JP and DT high-fiving each other before JP mirroring into Desert to fly away to go into Ice Palace. Our teammates doing a tag team today, tagging each other in and out of these dungeons. We're going to see some high-flying action maneuvers here as JP is going to fly right into the Ice Palace, slide across to get that big key, and nailing the pin on the big chest to get their some more Arcane to go into go mode. All the while DT is going to clean up what was the devastation that JP had made in this dungeon. My goodness, the chaos and mayhem, as he's going to pick up that big key and go ahead and beat up the boss and start working towards finishing the rest of the dungeons to go to Ganon's Tower. Meanwhile, ObscureLifeform doing the college try and checking out Trinex, who is in their vanilla location of no less. So we got a Trinex in this vanilla location for the boss fight in hopes of finding the flute. But we know it's not going to be there. Does make quick work of Trinex though. So they're going to go ahead and bank on that kill, and they're going to get a blue boomerang for their efforts. It's blue, but it's not the blue thing we wanted. We're looking for the flute here, and Nobly is doing Hera Pot in the Tower of Hera to quickly ascend up here to the boss and fight that boss. Forgot what was up here. I think it was okay, yeah, it was Viddy. Okay, it was Viddy. And thanks to the fact that they got silvers, they're gonna make quick work of these eyeballs. Not sure if I do it in front of them though. Yeah, you're in for shocking revelations if you think you feel invincible after that. But took out all the small eyeballs and 2 more shots for the big one, and that's a done deal. Nobly finishing up their Vit fight for the Tower of Hera. Gets their crystal. And now is the scenario for Noble Foxes, because ObscureLifeform is going to go into Desert Palace. They can clear this dungeon because they got the gauntlets and the boots. They're just scrambling to look for that some more Arcane. And it looks like Nobly will be the one that'll tell ObscureLifeform that's going to be in the Thieves Town dungeon. From the looks of it, they are making their way towards the Kakariko village. And yeah, as Chad was saying, they was just not realizing that Turtle Rock was a pendant. Yeah, I agree. It feels really bad. It feels really bad to do that and come up with absolutely nothing. And then they're gonna come, and then Nobly's gonna come into it looks like Nobly's coming into the Thieves Town dungeon. And he's gonna pull out the flute. He's gonna tell ObscureLifeform, and Lifeform will have a fit. And there it is. Immediately teleporting, mirroring out. Gonna free the bird and then make their way into the Misery Mire. Get that dungeon out the way, and then mirror into the desert to finish that up, since both of them are crystals. Speaking of Misery Mire, DT is finishing up their sweep of the dungeon, while JP is gonna go into this dungeon with the knowledge of where Big Key's at. Gonna grab that and gonna scoot on up to quickly catch up to DT, their teammate, to get this party going to GT. I feel like even if it is a pendant, you check the front part of Thieves' Town. Even if it is a pendant. Red or blue pendant, no less. But yeah, DT finishing up their fight. They're gonna go ahead and mirror out. They're gonna go ahead and use their flute. They do have magic, so I don't think. Oh, okay, yeah, they're. I was gonna say I don't think they'll be in that huge issue as far as magic usage goes because they have magic. I was gonna say now would be a good time to stock up on a potion or two, but don't need to do that. We have magic. We're good, and we can bottle a fair if we really need to. So it's the fact that we have magic powder and the flute. I mean, and the bug net, no less. Yeah, that's another thing, though. DT is only on green mail. My man only on green mail and like a handful of hearts. He is just breaking the way. Yeah, one mail was in left side swamp. The other one was on the back of cemetery. So they were way out the way. Meanwhile, JP just finishing up their Misery Mire dungeon fight. And Nobly working towards looking for the big key for Misery Mire. Hopefully before Obscure start going in to check that area out. And it looks like DT is gonna have the pleasure of go moaning Tower of Hair and then teleporting back into the Dark World to get into their Ganon's Tower. JP is working towards their crystal clears now to be able to get access to the tower. Just need to do Desert and then Tower of Hair as well, and then they're good to go. Yeah, it looks like it may look like you have to avoid the pendant dungeons, but if you take the time to dip one of them, which was easy to do, and that was Thieves' Town, you'll be set for this scene. As we get a mafia fight in the Desert Palace, and that's gonna do it for JP. Meanwhile, DT finishing up their Vidi fight. It is time to play the big game. Make your decision quick. How many chests do you think DT will open up before the big key? I think it's I want to say 8. It's gonna be 8 this time. If you're gonna play today, you better make sure you put it in there because the moment DT enters in this dungeon, all bets are closed, and we're gonna see the results Better time close as DT is now going the right side. Gonna check out Hope Room first. First chest we get 300 rupees. The second chest is a whole heart. Gonna add more defense onto what he got little of, which is alright. And there's our big key sitting on the torch. That is number 3, ladies and gentlemen. DT is gonna grab that small key, mirror out, and then start making their climb into GT. Going through the gauntlet and an enemizer. It's gonna be quite of a trek. Especially if it's just a lot of randomized enemies. Hopefully it's not gonna be this bad. Not too far off, JP is going to get in front of Ganon's tower, and then they're going to mirror into Tower of Hera to finish that fight up, and then come back in. He's going to be pleased to know that the torch is, the big key has been sitting on the torch. Interesting enemy placement today. All the while, for Mobile Foxes, Nobly finishes up their Misery Mire dungeon. All they need left to do is Desert Palace, which is pretty much a hop, skip, and a jump. So it's gonna swing by in the back part here. Meanwhile, ObscureLifeform is working their way towards Swamp Palace. Thankfully, they can go mode this. They can go to the boss, beat it up, and then leave out, and then go into Janus Tower themselves. Speaking of, JP is now getting in there. And we do get a Helmsor fight, and that's going to be in where the location of Lamos 2 is at. Nobly making quick work of Mafula. Gonna get their crystal. DT is almost finishing their climb. JP is moving along pretty well, and this enemy placement is kind of generous, and it's only because the the tower lasers not beaming down on our runners for this one. Which is pretty interesting when you think about it. But looks like Nobly is picking up some supplies before they're gonna go into Ganon's tower. Meanwhile, ObscureLifeform cracking open Misery Mire to take their dive into it. They're gonna go mode this as well to finishing up this seed. All the while, DT is finishing up their climb, doing AGA 2 fight. That is an interesting placement for AGA to be in. Oh, pretty impressive spin there, too. As DT fights off AGA 2, JP finishes off their Helm Sword fight and is now moving over to the second half of the climb to GT. Not too far off, Nobly is going to be the first one for Noble Foxes to enter in the Ganon's Tower. And ObscureLifeform is going to work towards finishing up their Misery Mire climb. Well, not Misery Mire climb, but their Misery Mire dive. Because you go down in this dungeon, not up. Man, it's going to be a quick work. They're going to pop into this room, get the big key, and then proceed on to the other half of the dungeon that'll lead to the boss. And while I'm speaking of bosses, DT finishing up AGA 2, fighting the big man himself. We are in its phase 2. We're gonna take a swig of the potion, bottoms up, as get a good clean one more hit off of it, and then just moving on to the last phase for the looks of it. There we go. Phase 3. Pretty straightforward after this. Everything kind of stabilizes afterwards. Phase 2 is always like the one phase you kind of panic a little bit when you go into phase 3, because sometimes those fire bats can really do a number on you. But it should be smooth sailing now for DT, as we do get D-Torch glitch, and they're going to be doing some spins today. They didn't pick up the silvers, which is kind of odd, but I guess DT just wanted to flex on this one. Hopefully these spins that they're doing is going to be enough to bring in Ganon, because they are running low on magic. They just need to make sure they land the rest of them. Shouldn't take that long to kill them with Tempered, though. So, and there they go. Down goes Ganon for DT for WJP DTB. Get your GG's up for DT as he crosses the finish line, being our first runner between the four to finish with a time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 13 seconds. Not too far from there, JP is going to be doing their Ganon fight, while Nobly is doing the climb for the gauntlet, and ObscureLifeform is finishing up their Misery Mire fight. JP doing impressive work on the second phase. That should be enough damage to bring him on to the last one, to the third one. And yes, it is. Nobly finishing up their helm sword fight. ObscureLifeform is working towards going into Ganon's tower. Speaking of Ganon's tower, speaking of Ganon, we get an impressive double from JP and another double to seal the deal here. Finishing up Ganon, everyone get your GGs out for JP, as he will be the runner to submit the victory today between the Noble Foxes and the WJPDTB, finishing with a time of 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 48 seconds. Rather impressive work there to deal with a seed that kind of had some weird placements, and not only that, being Agina one, Aga 1 seed, no less. And it does look like Noble Foxes is going to concede to this race, knowing that both runners from WJPDTB has finished. Impressive work getting the rate that they were in. Like, even then, like, being able to go in go mode at the very least in 1 hour and 10 minutes in a seed like this is pretty impressive.
Oh, bye. Hello.
And we are joined today by our 4 runners.
Oh,
How y'all doing? GG's, great work out there.
GG. Oh, good
GG.
evening. GG's, everyone. GG all
GG.
around.
So the question on my mind right now is, what did y'all when y'all was doing that race, would you consider gambling on leaving what chest out and whatnot? Because I think that was what decided this race.
I mean, it wasn't leaving too much. It was just those 3 deaths in Dark Cross just destroyed our mind. At least my mind. Obscure tried to keep calm. It was hard.
Yeah, but as I was saying, like we were just talking about the race and saying like the really late Thieves Town, because usually you would just like in an Enemizer, you check the 4 chests in the front and go to the boss. But we had those unfortunate things at the beginning happen, so it was like, all right, okay. And then I went into Skull Woods. I found both shields like immediately. I was like, well, I'm not going to go to the boss right now. I'll go check like Bumper Ledge and see what's there. And I found the mirror, and I was like, okay, well, I've got no reason to go there. To the Village of Outcasts. So went up the mountain, and then we just kind of followed stuff. And then we was just chatting along the way and just like, well, if it's Thieves Town, we've lost, so let's just not go Thieves Town.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I guess that makes sense too, because that mountain was loaded.
Yeah, Mountain was loaded, and I believe Mountain was loaded. I forgot which other area was loaded as well.
Eastern had a bow, at least.
Yeah, big chest key.
We got the hammer out of pot, but that wasn't really loaded.
Yeah, Obscure got the hammer and just bailed immediately because he was ahead. He was like, "Oh, I found the hammer. You have the bow. You clear this. Just do things, moan about it, and like be happy. You can do this crystal. I can't. So
I think
enjoy."
I think DT and I kind of had a similar conversation there.
Yeah, because JP had the bow out of Eastern and then was gonna get that hammer and was able to full clear it. I didn't have the bow, so
Yeah, and then
then DT found the second bow, and he's like, I'm not gonna grab the other one because at that point the time it took to get the bow would basically be negated by the time
it just didn't. I don't know how it would time out. It just didn't seem worth it to go back through Eastern to get that one.
Yeah, if you're already in there and you decide to skip out on that chest, you might as well leave it alone.
Yeah, because I mean, what was it going to speed up? It might have made Vidya a little bit faster at the top of Hera, but with Cape and Tempered Sword, it's not a super slow fight anyway. And then it would have sped up Ganon, but I don't think it would have been worth the time.
yeah, we decided about it and said, just pick it up, because if there's a lot of enemies that like Hinoxes and stuff, you just silver arrow them in the climb, and it makes that a lot faster than using medallions and stuff.
That's
But
true.
of course, it wasn't too much of it. So, but yeah, we were happy about the red can. We was like, okay, if Flutes in TR were in an okay position, if it's in Thieves Down, we just lost anyway. So go do that while I clean up the 3 crystals I have, and hopefully by that time we have it. And if it's not there, then last challenge is they've cleared Thieves Down and it's in left side swamp. But then I walk into Thieves Down and oh, it's in the first chest. Great. That was the ultimate bad feeling there. Walking in and it was in the legit first chest.
Yeah, especially after clearing Turtle Rock. Like, decline to Turtle Rock was a pretty good play, given the way you was routing the seed out. But it's like when I was looking like, oh, this is gonna be so crushingly bad, because I think by the time you started going up to there, DT was going into Ice Palace, and that's where their go mode was when they find some more arcane.
Yeah. The funny thing is, when I entered to go and get my mirror, I was like, okay, I can grab that blue mail on Graveyard Ledge and go over to Catfish and check Sorrow, because we never got to check that. And then I was like, oh, I have to walk around. Do I do Outcast and Thieves Down? And we were like trying to argue what was the best. And it's like, we ended up arguing, both of us together, to be like, okay, Thieves Down is not a good play right now. So unfortunately, it would have been, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, this race could have gone other ways. You never know, but at the end of the day, decisions were made, and that's just what we felt was right at the time. Unfortunately, it didn't pay out, and it worked out well for you guys. But I mean, that's the nature of randomizer and the nature of the league. And now we're all sitting here at 30 points, and it's absolutely insane. It's crazy. So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I agree.
I think I think kind of mathing it out. I think I mentioned this before the race, but I think as a result of this, we're going to rematch in round 1 of the playoffs.
And if that aligns correctly, we'll look forward to this run back of a race. That's for sure.
I
But
think the admins have to confirm that, but I think that's how it's going to work out.
But yeah, this is the last week, so they got to do some number crunching to see what's up and where everyone lies in sort of position before the playoffs. But I will say, I did a fantastic job of finishing this in, like, at the very least 1 hour and 20 minutes. This is a pretty decent time, especially for a seed like this. Had you,
Yeah,
Dragon 1, no less.
this I think this felt just so slow. I know between me and DT, it's like we were 40 minutes in. We maybe had a crystal each.
I don't even think I had my first one at 40. Like it felt bad for that.
I mean, once we got through the Dark Gold and like got stuff, like it didn't feel too bad. It was just all that start death in Dark Cross and that mess in Dark Cross, just everything felt so bad afterwards. But the scene was pretty fun in itself. The enemies weren't too bad.
A bit trolly. At least there weren't no giant spike balls in the single, like, rareways, like what a last seed had, where you was doing Palace of Darkness, the fallen platforms, and then there's like a giant spike ball flying towards you.
Yeah. But it was good fun. It's always great to race JP, DT, and Willard's team. So
Yep.
Well, thanks. Likewise, you guys are real tough opponents, and I mean, this week could have been a 2-0 or a 1-1 in either direction. So
oh yeah,
there was
Yeah.
no way to know how these races were going to go until we were done. So GG's, it was a good week.
yeah, indeed.
yeah, well
And
played, guys.
good luck in the next upcoming
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
end game.
Thanks, and same to you.
Yep,
I'm going to
same to
dip
you.
out. Thanks, everyone.
Yep.
All right. With that said and done, we are going to close out today's race. Do give a follow to our runners in their respective Twitch channels for giving us a fantastic race today, as well as a follow to our trackers, who's been working behind the scenes, making sure to push the buttons and give us an update on where all the items are. as well as our restreamer as well today, blessing us with the opportunity to watch this event unfold. If you want to see more speed run in action, we may have one more race today before we close out the standard week before the playoffs. Go ahead and take a look at Link to the Past Randomizer League's main website and see what's up over there. There could be one more match in before the day is done. But that will do it for today's race. I am Esper Hub. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a good week.